So I don't know how many people are actually going to view this live, so I'm just going to treat it kind of like a recording until I start seeing different things, I guess. Until I start seeing people come up. So a lot of people out there are shutting their networks down. They're publicly announcing they're shutting down. They're running scared. I don't have any intentions on pulling the plug on the hub. Yes, it is running out of my house. It's running out of my living room on a Raspberry Pi 4. I also have another backup hub down in Atlanta, so if anything happens here, I can switch. There's always room for growth. I created this network over 7 years ago with the intention of everybody being able to connect together all across the country, and other people had other views of that idea, so they branched off and started other little cliques across the country and allowed other people, and some of them did some pretty good text style stuff. Kudos to them. Where I did videos, some other people apparently did videos or text. But the future of this network is that I am not going to unplug it. I have not received any kind of official letter from anywhere saying to shut it down. I've been dealing with the FCC's stuff for many years before having my call sign, and I did a lot of research on how they operate, and they don't just do what the Bubicon is stating, sending an email out. They actually will mail you something, a cease and desist letter first. And to be honest with you, because of the fact that this is connected over the internet, there's not much they can tell me to do about it. They would have to find each and individual user and let them know. And the thing is we structured ourselves a long time ago on low profile nodes. And we do allow repeaters, but it pissed off a lot of repeater owners because they wanted to have a big repeater network all across their state. And well, now look what's coming down is there's a bunch of rumor mills out there and a bunch of shit. When you start pissing off people because you're being heard all across the entire state on all 8 repeater channels, you're going to start pissing people off. And that's what a lot of these giant networks have done, is they put up these massive repeaters that will cover a quarter of the state, and then they connect it to another one that connects the other corner, and they started roughing the states together and tying up all the pairs. You start pissing people off, and they're going to start bitching. So our stuff is pretty much made up of low profile. If they decided to tinker with it, they decided to tinker with it. They got higher profile. They put up different stuff, and they grew with it. They didn't just throw on, a giant repeater and hope people would come. Everybody pretty much started the same way, small and increased over time. There's only been a few people, and then they throw up their big repeater, and it's just they're quiet. It takes a long time for a big repeater network to get traction. That's the thing, is it takes a network in order to breathe life into it, because each individual repeater probably only has maybe one user on it. Well, now that repeater is connected to 5, and each of those have maybe one user on it. Well, now you got 5 different people. It got so bad that sometimes even the owners don't even use them. They just put them up there and they fucking sit. And there's just repeaters all across the country that are not linked, and nobody uses them. And well, they just sit there. But now that people are actually trying to breathe some life into it, and now there's a big shindig, a big hoopla, about the networking of stuff. If they actually use this shit correctly, when they started it, when they were doing these massive networks, they could have simulcast their shit and only tied up one repeater frequency instead of all 8. And, they didn't do it. They would take up all 8 repeater pairs, and it got people bitching. How's it going? It's Friday, and for some reason my kids are out of school. I don't know why. The flags are half staff over at the courthouse for some reason too. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, that's the future of the network here. I'm not going to puss out. I've had people threaten to call the FCC on us several thousand times. I mean, I've been doing it for 7 years. You don't think I've gotten hate messages and hate emails and stupid shit because people were here and just they were disagreeing with the way the network is ran? That's your opinion. I give the network the freedom to do as they wish. And the thing is everybody keeps throwing out these call signs, and no wonder they're getting targets on their back because you're throwing out a call sign that gives the government the way to find you. If you look at our status page, there is no call signs. I don't even know if there's states on it. Where if you look at a lot of these bigger places, the what they call the bigger networks, because they had several different people that worked together with them. I mean, I've worked with all these people that started these little cliques before out there on the other networks. I've worked with a good chunk of them, and they didn't like the way that I just gave people the freedom to speak however and not use their damn call signs, because I knew this shit was coming. This shit's coming, and you don't want to be a target on your back. And you start putting that fucking call sign out there, and they're going to put a target on your back right away. Oh, they know where you're at. I mean, it's fucking weird when you have somebody knock on your fucking door. Oh, I heard your repeater IDing, and it's giving out your call sign. Oh, what's going on? I mean, I thought it was pretty cool at first, and then I said, I don't like that, But yeah, find them. If the FCC is really that fucking determined, we're spread out all across the fucking country. And we're low profile. We're not these big ass monstrous things that cover a big quarter of the state and easy to track down. I mean, when you got something that's sticking up 300 feet in the fucking air and it's broadcasting over 50 miles, I mean, duh, you can easily track that down, So I'm not shutting it down. If there's little groups that are, my thing is the whole reason why I started this network is because I had hardware and I needed a way to use it, and I didn't have my ham ticket. I bought it from a group that shut down that I was affiliated with here in Wisconsin that I didn't realize was part of my GMRS. I didn't know they even had a network way back when I first got going. And I started talking with Rich. He got me a little bit more involved in it over on my GMRS. Then I totally asked him for help on starting my own. He was like, no, fuck you. Pretty much shut me down. So I found a ham that was willing to give me some help. And that ham took a lot of shit in the ham community for helping. And, this was all 7 years ago, and it was a big shush kind of thing. And it still kind of is. But people started doing what I did. I literally sat down and looked and just kind of went through. I had access to 3 different, a blank slate, one that was configured and one that was configured, to a different network, to 3 different networks. So I was able to sit down and just cross-reference them and figure it out, it really was a learning curve. Linux is definitely fun, but to be honest, it's just a computer, It's sitting in my living room and it's just running. It's no different than, to me, running a Minecraft server. Are they going to tell a Minecraft server to shut down? I don't get into that type of shit, although I probably could make some money doing it. I need to turn my scanner back on. I'm hearing sirens. What's going on in little podunk town of Rapids? So that is the future of the GMRS Linked Network. I'm not shutting it down. I haven't gotten any letters. I'm not even paying attention to social media really, except for I'm getting asked what's going on. So now I had to start paying attention. And I noticed Bubacon, and it's a wambulance. Bubacon and some other little paid. And that's the other thing too. Don't get it twisted, dumbasses. You're not supposed to be paying for shit. Donating is one thing, but paying a mandatory thing, that's considered commercial. And that should get them shut down. Like the Georgia group, they've been having a high fee. I understand they got a lot of maintenance, but you start taking payment, then it's a fucking commercial thing. And that should be shut down. And I think that's part of the reason why that was going on there. You start taking funding. I ran a pirate radio station on an FM dial years ago down in a little town called Danville, Kentucky. What the hell was it? Danville's Hit Music Station, WDHS or WDHN or something like that. And, that's when I really first started looking into it, is they send out nasty grams. As long as you're not impeding places, then you're not going to get a nasty gram. Now, like, if my shit starts impeding with the fucking police because they're right across the fucking street, then I can start getting fucking potential nasty grams,
It looks like it starts leaking about 100 yards north of Hilltop Road on County Highway.
Set it ablaze! It's diesel fuel. We had a tractor trailer apparently have a fucking tank punctured, and they're following the diesel fuel. It dripped all the way down the road. So that is the future of the network. I mean, we dropped the fact that we call sign all the time. Like 3 years ago. I don't know, 4 years ago. When GMRS Live started is when we dropped the call signs. We stopped saying the call signs altogether because GMRS Live started from the NWI, Northwest Indiana Network. They were they didn't like the fact that we stopped using the call signs. They were connected on I think the 200 or something, but we would connect together, leave it open for a little bit, and I didn't like that. So GMRS Live got together with some of the other folks over here, and they started off, And I had a feeling it was going to happen. There was a guy down in Florida that pretty much made it known what was going to happen. A guy named JD. He pretty much let me know, Tony's up down here trying to, he'd talk shit about you, but I don't care. You seem like a nice dude. And then JD just all of a sudden got like fucking super wigged out and fucking went with Tony. But, that's old history, man. A lot of people don't know the history of these networks, and I've been following it for over 7 years because the GMRS Linked Network has been running for 7, and I was affiliated with another network called the Calumet GMRS Network for about 1.5 years, 2 years before I started with this. So, yeah, it's, I've been doing it for a while. I just recently took a break. I stepped back and I gave the role over to Chris to essentially be the moderator. There's Chris and Kevin that are moderators over the 10100 and stuff, and adding people and stuff like that. I just started a taxi service, so I've been busy doing that and haven't been able to keep up with radios and shit like that to be able to get in there. And I busted out my grandfather's scanner. He died back in 2003 and needed some solder work. So I got that old bad boy back up and running, and now I'm sitting here listening to the local authorities on that. So, but hope you're enjoying your day. And that's just of the GMRS Linked Network. Until I am told, well, even if I am told, I mean, I could just move it somewhere else. I mean, that's the thing, is this thing is bigger than just me. I mean, I'm not the only one that has access to this shit. And if I put it up in the clouds, then, it's not even here, Now they got to find out where it's at. I mean, there's so many different places to move it. And I mean, we publicly announced probably 2 years into the network thing. I just got so busy, and it might have been even the first year of running. I publicly announced that I was shutting the network down. I made it very clear to the people on the network that we're not shutting down. I shut down the Facebook group. I shut down the YouTube page. I shut everything down. And there was a big hoopla back then. Oh, see, I told you the FCC's going to shut these networks down. Ooh. And I simply commented, you dumbass. I could shut off a web page. I can even shut the network off. But I'm not that big of an asshole. These people bought these hardware. That's what I was doing. I was mentioning, I started the network because I had the hardware from a network that shut down. I got a dude in Pennsylvania to get on board. I didn't know I got him on board. He didn't ask me for any help until after he got the hardware all connected and was like, now what? And this was early on. It was just a Facebook post at that point. And now I had this dude out in Pennsylvania, and he's like, now what do? I got these nodes. And I'm like, shit, I don't have anybody else. And at that point, I gave up. I couldn't, there was nobody willing to link. So I was like, fuck it. Head on over to my GMRS. They're the only network that I knew of at the time. So I was like, go on over there. You're putting up a repeater. Go ahead and put it on over there. Well, I get a call back from the dude like 3 or 4 weeks later. He's like, man, nobody wants to talk over here. Like, nobody wants to talk to me. There are all these little cliques. At that point in time, my GMRS had New Mexico, Texas, Georgia, and New Jersey, and was just branching into southern Florida. And, he was in Pennsylvania, and he's like, nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows where I'm at, and they don't want to talk to me. And I'm like, all right, man, let me see what I can do. So I posted out a bunch more times, and next I know, I had people messaging me in Ohio. I had one of the people on my GMRS network connect over because he had the same issue. He was in North Carolina. Nobody wanted to talk to him. So he connected over. And by the way, Dave, I think his name is Dave. It's been a long time. Oh, I don't think he's in it anymore, though. There was a dude in North Carolina that he started the North Carolina GMRS. And yeah, that was fun. I got nasty grams from Rich threatening to sue me because he had my hub's information in his Pi, and he threatened to sue me because he thought I went in and did it to his Pi. And, I hacked his Pi to be able to hack into Rich's network. And I'm like, dude, we made it very clear to the person connected over that they were connecting to me. They knew me, so they knew I was there. That's why they connected to North Carolina from Indiana, but I'm sitting over here getting fucking nasty emails threatening that, oh, I'm going to sue you for hacking and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, whatever, dude. So I told the guy in North Carolina, like, man, I don't need the headache. You need to pretty much pick at this point. And it was very early on in my infancy stage. Midwest GMRS just connected in with my GMRS. And, he was like, I'm going to hang over here. And so, that was fun. But the whole reason why the network got started afterwards was because of Phil, the guy in Pennsylvania, had his hardware and nobody to talk to. I had hardware and no one to talk to. So nobody wants to have hardware and nobody to talk to. So that's why I'm saying anybody's welcome. We could create as many fucking hubs as we want. And you guys could have your own little fucking cliques. All I'm doing is giving people a place to go. You don't gotta fucking like me. I ain't even on the fucking radio anymore. So all I'm trying to do is give people a place to go, a place to connect, because you have the hardware for it. If you don't know how to work it, that's fine. I have videos on how to do it. If you really want text files, I'm sure somebody would create a text file. But yeah, there's my take on this whole debacle going on. if I get the Instagram, I'll post a video saying, "Yep, looky what I got, but I don't think I'm gonna get it," because yeah, they don't give a fuck. They don't. They really don't. Unless you're impeding on somewhere, you're interfering with something. They don't. That's just the way it is. Our government don't give a fuck about us unless we're hurting one another somehow. Although they're allowing us to be poisoned by all the food and drugs and shit that's out here. That's our government for you. Welcome to the USA. It's no longer the home of the brave and the land of the free. It's the home of the snowflakes and the home of the fees. I don't even know how to stop it. Oh, up there. Stop.